Not a Shocker, a Marvel fanfiction written on AO3 by CorinaLannister. As soon as the call ended, Tony sprung into action, getting Jarvis to tell him where Peter was and to calculate the fastest route to him. Factoring in all wind speeds and city landscape was done and communicated to him before he could even put on his suit. That was saying something, as he put on his suit at a rapid speed. They hurriedly whispered, "I need you," and the tone in which it was said worried Tony to no end. Peter was in trouble and Tony was going to save the day. Peter needed him and Tony was going to be there for him. Big function be damned. No one needed to hear another speech from Tony Stark. And if they did, big tough luck, as Tony Stark was already flying out of there on his most direct path to Peter. Tony pushed hard, thrusters and systems already on the edge of collapse, as he made it to the alley where Peter was sitting 2 minutes ahead of Jarvis's scheduled time. When they saw each other, Peter's expression instantly brightened, and he threw himself across the space between them, Tony's arms instantly coming up to embrace him. "Dad, you came for me," Peter says as he hugged him tight. You are actually there." Words continued flowing from Peter, but Tony was stuck on the first word. Dad. Peter had called him Dad. Peter had never called him Dad before, and what's more, Tony hadn't an inkling that he thought of him that way. He didn't dislike it. Quite the opposite. He liked it. And it squeezed Peter tighter to him. It shouldn't have been a shocker. Not really. They had bonded, and Tony had taught him a lot. He felt Peter's tears wet his suit and his shirt, and he thought he might start to do the same soon if he was not careful. He started to think of anything else to quickly despair the trickle at the back of his throat and the pinching in his eyes. If it were anyone else, he'd be thinking about the cost. Yes, and he was still thinking about the cost now, but it didn't matter. There was something wrong, and he needed to get to the bottom of it. Whatever had happened couldn't have been good, and the situation needed to be resolved by him. Peter was counting on him. And when he needed to get to the bottom of his feelings. As much as Tony wanted to be shocked by the fact that Peter thought of him as a dad, Tony thought of him as a son, and this was just the push they needed for them both to acknowledge their relationship they had been developing over time, like father and son. Tony liked the sound of that, and he was proud that he could call Peter a son. So he asked, "What seems to be the problem, son?"